I've disassembled these three DC brushed motors to show you the common components that you'll find in these types of assemblies. Down here at the bottom I have the brushes. So these little copper arms right here, that's the brushes, and that's where it gets its name as a brushed motor. These are a little bit larger, and these are the brushes here. These actually have a little bit of a spring, so they'll return to the assembly and push up against the commutator, which we'll look at next. Each DC motor will have two inputs. We can pass the positive battery voltage to one and then negative to the other. If we want to reverse them, then we would just reverse the polarity. Up here we have the armature. So this is the rotating assembly for a DC motor. There's usually some type of a bearing material that'll help to hold this assembly inside the housing and allow it to have a little bit easier time rotating. Inside the armature are these little copper wires. These copper wires are insulated. They're not going to touch each other. They're wrapped down. Think of it as a really long wire that we wrap around this metal assembly. Those wires, the coils or windings, are attached to individual components in this commutator. So this segment right here will be attached to one end of the winding wire. And then another commutator segment will be attached to the other end. So we wrap that coil around this core. It'll go all the way around, and then it'll attach and come to another commutator segment. The commutator is segmented, meaning that these are not electrically touching each other. Okay, so we isolate them from each other. This allows us to have the brush pass current through just one segment at a time. So we'll get a positive battery voltage here and maybe a negative battery voltage here. At the top is the housing that typically is going to contain a permanent magnet. There are DC brushed motors that don't use a permanent magnet, they use an electromagnet, but most modern DC motors are using permanent magnets in these assemblies. So no matter what the size of the DC motor, these are the common components that you will find inside.